one of the most iconic plays in NFL history. I could watch it a million times over. How did it impact the 49ers, and how crucial was it?
It was maybe the most iconic play in NFL history, Kay. It's known as the catch, and in the 1970s, it was all about the Cowboys in the NFC, and in the 1980s, that play in the NFC Championship game, the 49ers finally getting over the hump, finally winning a big game, the torch was passed, and then the Niners would go on to win, obviously, 5 Super Bowls in their franchise history. But the loss today of Dwight Clark is felt nationally, but I think specifically in the Bay Area. Dwight Clark is a icon for that sports scene. So much so that he was a 2-time Pro Bowler, but also a 2-time Super Bowl champion as a player, a 3-time Super Bowl champion as an executive. And it was just always felt and beloved out there in San Francisco. There's a famous story that I've told that I read about this past week. 1988, he opens up a sports bar, a restaurant called Clark's by the Bay. Comes out and it gets some tepid reviews from the San Francisco Chronicle. The next day, the newspaper was overwhelmed with negative mail saying, "How dare you tarnish Dwight Clark's restaurant?" Not him, but the restaurant. That's how much love that he was given. And earlier this year, they played the Cowboys in a game. Fox aired it as the national big broadcast game, and it was October 22nd, and it was kind of a tribute to Dwight Clark. He was battling ALS. People knew he was 61 years old. This is the fight he was in, and they asked him, "What do you want to do? We can retire the jersey again. We can bring in a fundraiser. We can have some sort of run or marathon." He said, "Fly in, my guys." And they flew in 40 of the 49ers from that 1981 and 1984 team. They stood by his side. They honored him at halftime. That's all he wanted. He wanted to be flanked by his teammates, and that's how he'll be remembered. Flanked by his teammates, one of the greatest catches of all time, also one of the greatest men to grace this league. Read all the eulogies today, read all the obits. I can't do that man justice. An incredible human. Sad to see.
And it's got them that catch to their first Super Bowl, which they won, one of the 5 that they have as a franchise.
Yeah, it makes me sad to see this. It makes me really nostalgic. I want to go have a catch with my dad. I know I speak for a lot of men and women that I used to do the Dwight Clark catch in my backyard. You know, my dad would go out, and if we're on the driveway, I would make my dad be Craig Elo, and I would hit the shot over him. But in the backyard, my dad would be Joe Montana. I'd always say, throw it higher, throw it higher. I want to go up and get it like Dwight Clark. Yeah. That was the catch. And lest anyone from maybe a younger generation not understand exactly what Dwight Clark was, this was not some one-hit wonder. Respectfully, this was not David Tyree. Dwight Clark had over 500 catches in his career. You mentioned the World Championships. And such an interesting story that as the story goes, Bill Walsh was not even looking at Dwight Clark or coming out of college. Wow. He goes to see Steve Fuller, the quarterback who went on to win a title with the Bears. And Clark is the guy just catching passes for him. And he liked him so much that he drafted him in the 10th round. That's how it came to be. From there to the backyards. It's a sad day.
Yeah, it is a sad day. For me, life is about moments. And, of course, the catch is a moment that we'll remember forever. But what's more important is the man. And it's the moments that he's had with different people that you're going to hear from over this time, that we show him some love. And me being a West Coast kid and my parents being from the heart of San Francisco, I mean, that catch was everything. As a young fella playing in the backyard, just like you said, KB. And being that I'm a player, we're all so connected. All of our storylines, all of our inception into the league and our death in real life, it's tough for us to deal with. We're 10 days in or 10 years in. Last guy on the roster or a living legend like Dwight Clark was. But, you know, he played for some really good teams. And I'll just end it by saying he's playing for the greatest team of all time, man. So rest in peace, champ.